Am I in frame?
Yes.
Hello! Is it the right...
Why is the line there?
Hmm?
The line on the whiteboard? Right there. Oh, so you can see the whole poster if you line it up to the line.
Yeah, not only that, but you know how far is too far.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so there you go.
Cushion the vibe.
Alright.
Oh, hello there. Hello. See you.
Alright.
Welcome to this, the
148th episode of Drunk Doctor Who.
almost to our Sasquatch-tennial.
Sesquicentennial.
Centennial and a half.
Alright. So anyway, the serial is Time in the Rani. Oh, hand me that. We're on the 7th Doctor.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yes, we finally get to the 7th Doctor. Sylvester McCoy.
I call him.
The clown.
So Mel's back. We haven't seen her since last episode.
Alright, so we have Mel. And we have...
Rani.
The Rani, just as implied in the name, Time in the Rani.
Is it Rani or Ronnie?
Rani.
But R-A-N.
R-A-N-I, yeah.
Ron.
Rani.
Long A.
Alright. Okay.
Steve Ronnie.
Sorry, we were so incredibly well prepared for this episode. Alright. And so now we have
Da-da-da.
the 7th Doctor.
McCoy.
McCoy, Sylvester McCoy.
Look at that resemblance.
Man, it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Looks like he's wearing a sailor hat.
Yeah, kind of. Alright.
High five, sailor.
I'm Hatter, this is Holden.
That's
and,
me.
Welcome. What are you drinking today, Holden?
Oh, I'm drinking a Modelo. Weird, right?
Alright,
That's
I'm drinking Russian Standard
my
Vodka.
usual. Brought leftovers today.
Alright, so today is the 28th of May, 2024.
Which is a Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yesterday's Memorial Day. He spent time with the family. I did stuff for the wife. So we're doing it on Tuesday. Which we've done before. Yeah. Alright. Number of episodes 4 aired from September 7th, 1987 to September 28th, 1987. For the astute of you, we are back to weekly episodes and not that weird Monday, Tuesday stuff they were doing there for a while.
Oh yeah, back to 4 episodes. And we got a lot of new stuff. New season, new doctor, new intro, new theme song.
Yeah.
Satan companion.
Exactly.
New villain. Second time we've seen
Rani. We'll see her once more in the 30th anniversary Children in Need special.
Very similar to the Master.
In some ways, different style, more grand and less manipulative. But yeah, overall,
Grand
evil
plan.
Time Lord. And
Is that like a trope with the Time Lords? It's like, well, the Doctor's a Time Lord, so he needs to have his mirror opposite. Like you have Superman and Bizarro Superman and Flash and the Reverse Flash.
Okay, the Master was set up to be Doctor Who's Moriarty. Sherlock had Moriarty.
Right.
The Doctor has the Master. The Rani was simply an introduction of another Time Lord bad guy. Kind of similar to the Monk, but the Monk was not really evil.
The meddling monk.
Right.
Yeah.
He was not really evil so much as he was just opportunistic. Yeah. Whereas the Master and the Rani are just flat out evil.
Yeah. Do we see more evil Time Lords? Like the Scrapyard? Valyard? That's the Doctor.
Well, the Doctor, but he doesn't come back, at least not yet. Okay, so...
Oh, Omega? There's another one.
Omega just went nuts.
Yeah,
he just went crazy,
A lot of good Time Lord villains.
A few, yeah. A few.
I bet we have more to see. Maybe. I don't think anything's gonna top Omega though.
No, the Master just keeps coming back.
He's a cool villain.
The Master just keeps coming back, and then...
I missed the Master. I didn't think I would because we got so much of him.
We see Rassilon eventually.
Finally?
As a villainesque figure.
Is he wearing the sash of Rassilon and his key and his house shoes of Rassilon and the bathrobe of Rassilon?
And you'll never guess who he's played by.
Is it just everything that he touches? They're like, oh, this is now the cup of Rassilon.
You'll never guess who he's played by.
Boy. Yeah, you're right. I'm there.
Who's James Bond?
A James Bond?
Yes.
Is it Pierce Brosnan? Or like an old James Bond?
I think it's Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah? Oh, nailed it.
It's one of them.
Love Pierce Brosnan.
Wait. I don't think it's Pierce Brosnan.
Is it the
different one?
The License to Kill one? Kind of gaunt.
I can't remember.
I think he came before Brosnan.
Wait, are you talking about the one that was in Sextet?
The one that does the wheelie in the semi truck.
Alright. I think it's Pierce Brosnan. Okay. Anyway. Or it's one of the Bonds. Anyway, so... Alright, brand new Doctor. Sylvester McCoy, who later on plays Radagast the Brown in The Hobbit.
It's Radagast.
Is the Doctor. He, I believe, was a children's entertainer before he got this job. He may have actually been a clown.
Now, McCoy's kind of unique in the fact that he, much like, later on in the show, McCoy actually plays two doctors. He plays Baker, Colin Baker with a wig, and then he plays his doctor.
Okay.
The McCoy doctor.
You are absolutely technically correct. Okay, so and I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but the Sixth Doctor was very unceremoniously released, and the Seventh Doctor picked up. So Colin Baker, the Sixth Doctor, didn't.
Yeah, we're at 6. I was just counting which one we were on.
Okay, 6 up there,
6.
upper left. All right,
6.
So the Sixth Doctor did not want to come back for regeneration. So in our very first cold open, I believe, before the credits, we have the cold open.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down.
Yeah.
New opening, new theme. After the first ever pre-opener?
Cold open. It's called cold open.
We've never had one of those before.
Correct.
Have we?
In the very first cold opener, the Rani uses a space gun to knock the TARDIS off and to bring it down to, what's the name of this planet?
Loy Hagil.
No, that's the substance she needed. We need to look up and see that's something real, like
Kershins.
Like Kershaw. Yeah.
Like Kershaw, yeah.
Yeah. So, like unobtainium or whatever the heck. So,
probably.
So she knocks his TARDIS off its route with this really weird, messed up space gun. Brings him down like Kershaw. He, in the meantime, falls off the exercise bike, which Mel always had him on.
Now,
hits his head and dies and regenerates. Yeah. But when they go in there, they flip him over and he's already regenerating.
Yeah.
And he's got the curly blonde hair, but it's technically not, I mean, it's a Sixth Doctor technically, but it's not Colin Baker, it's Sylvester McCoy in a curly wig, because Colin Baker didn't want to come back to do the regeneration. Yeah.
Can't blame him.
Yeah, he was mistreated.
I don't think he had a good time on the show.
Well, it's the same thing that happened.
I don't think he was popular either. I don't think people liked him.
Well, no. I mean, when you try to strangle your companion in the very first episode, you're not going to be popular.
So bizarre.
Yep. Something a bit of the same happened with Eccleston, where he was mistreated, or he didn't like the way they were treating.
This one?
Yep. In series 1, he didn't like the way that they were treating the crew, so he left after only a single series, and he has not returned to the show since.
Have been like no appearances.
None at all. And he's finally started to do some of the audios, but he has not returned to the show proper. Even when they wanted to connect all the regenerations through him, he wouldn't do it in the 50th.
Good for him. Shame on you, BBC. Treat your production crew better.
Well, I mean, we don't know both sides of the story.
Well, we do. We have a production crew that we abuse. You mostly.
It's mostly self-abuse. All right.
We force you, the production crew, to upload videos on
Okay.
A struggling PC.
All right. So anyway, like I said, I think Sylvester McCoy was a children's entertainer, maybe even a clown, and he does a little bit of spoons in the cereal. Lots of pratfalls.
He's real goofy. Kind of reminds me of Troutman. Mm-hmm. And it's more of a return to form with the classic Doctor, whereas we departed from that with Colin.
Yeah.
Davison.
Yeah.
That's Davison. Where did Colin go?
No, a little bit of a departure with Davison, more of a departure with Colin Baker.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's back to being a bit of Trouton, Pertwee, Tom Baker.
What I thought was weird was usually when the Doctor, he doesn't plan his regenerations, which is every one of the Doctor's regenerations we've seen pretty much.
He does plan one.
So when he does that, he's normally confused. His personality is still developing. He doesn't do that with this. When he first wakes up after regenerating, he's like, oh yes, this is what I was doing. Here are my plans. Wait, who am I? Who are you? Oh, I know who you are.
Yeah.
He's sharp. He's with it. He's not
right. But he says
confused.
But he says all these misnomers, and
he gets all his phrases.
And he gets drugged by the Rani, so he forgets what he's doing for a while.
Yeah. So that's a well. I have more questions, but we'll get there.
All right. So we have our very first cold open. Mm-hmm. The Doctor regenerates into the Seventh Doctor. We have a really weird kind of techno-esque, in as much as you can get in the late 80s intro theme.
New theme song, yeah.
Yeah.
And a whole new intro graphics.
Yeah.
The face is still there. He winks at you.
Yeah. At least he doesn't have that big crazy smile like Colin did.
Yeah,
he just kind of grins and winks, no teeth. And we still have the same showrunner, Jonathan Nathan Turner. Okay. Ready to get into the story?
Yeah, so the cold opener, the first one we've ever seen, there wasn't like a cold opener before, like with the Forbidden Planet?
No, I think this was thrown in to regenerate the Doctor, and before the credits, so you could have the new Doctor's face on the credits.
Yeah, it's like they started filming McCoy's first stuff, and they're like, well, we gotta do this. Like, Colin doesn't want to come back, do the regeneration.
But we have to.
Feels kind of thrown in there.
Right, if we're going to have the Doctor's face on it, we need to have him as the Doctor, so we have to have that bit before the opening.
So it picks up right where the previous serial left off, our season finale, where the Doctor had fallen off his exercise bike and he's regenerating. He's still unconscious. Mel is also... Sorry, what?
No.
Oh.
You're absolutely correct.
You're about to...
I was just showing the DVD.
Oh, that's the DVD.
We watched it on Blu-ray, but of course I have the DVD. Blu-ray.
Now, so it picks up right off of after where he fell off the exercise bike and he's regenerating. He's still unconscious. Mel was also knocked unconscious. We see someone open the TARDIS, just walks in, who's accompanied by like big bat creatures.
Right, and that someone's the Rani. It's the Rani who's back, Time and the Rani.
Who apparently Time Lords just have a key that fits every TARDIS.
Not necessarily, but she was specifically going after the Doctor. So she would have specifically gone and gotten that key.
Knew the Type 40.
So, Type 40, yeah.
What's interesting is, okay, let me ask you this. Did the Rani kill the Doctor? And did she kill him on purpose?
Yeah, she basically killed him in this case, yeah.
Yeah, and that was intentional as a part of her plan?
Well, no, she was knocking off the TARDIS to land.
Right.
I don't think she intentionally killed the Doctor.
But then she had that like whole plan of giving him amnesia because he just regenerated. So she came up with that. You don't think she was planning it out, forced his regeneration by like Johnson.
How in the world could she have known that? Yeah. Okay. So
it just seemed also planned. She's like, I got the amnesia ready, the companion costume.
As he says at the end, she never does anything without backup. So she has a lot of little backup deals. So, the Doctor gets picked up while he's unconscious right after his regeneration by the Rani and the big bat-like Ted Trap thing.
So they didn't take Mel? They did take
No,
Mel.
they left Mel.
They left Mel.
They left Mel. She was unimportant.
Yeah.
So you take the Doctor back to this base, and it's your average evildoer's lair, you know?
In all my years of traveling, I've never met anyone who wasn't important.
Peter Davison.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fifth Doctor.
I don't know why that clip just always pops up on social media.
That's a good clip.
It's a good quote, yeah. It makes you feel all warm.
Mm-hmm.
Feel goods. It's like, oh.
Okay, so the Doctor gets taken to the Rani's lair, and it's the new Doctor, and he's been unconscious the entire time that he's been on the screen thus far. And he pops up, and he is super frenetic, super animated, just
Yeah, a lot of high energy.
Yeah.
Kind of that like circus carnival clown, very high energy, kind of goofy.
Right.
It reminds you of Troughton.
A little bit Troughton, yeah.
More goofy than Troughton.
Much more goofy, and especially with the oddball off sayings. Anyway, so he.
Did those stick around?
I can't remember.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Stay tuned.
All right. So he ends up being convinced by the Rani that she is Mel, because she puts on a wig, looks like Mel, and she puts on the clothes to look like Mel, and she gets convinced by the Rani after she injects him with the amnesia potion.
Amnesia juice.
Right.
So because of course she has to explain her plans as the villain, and then and then knock him out.
How else are we supposed to follow the plot? Yeah. There are some movies that don't explain that distinctly, but they're most of the time, especially when you're going on TV, you got to do that.
Yeah.
Which.
Because it's episodic. Did
Right.
I see the last episode?
Which I'll come back to that in episode 3.
Context. Episode 3?
Yeah. Okay. So episode 1 and 2 seem a bit dragged out. Lots and lots of running through the quarry. Okay.
Yeah.
Like lots and lots and lots of running through the quarry. Episodes 3 and 4 seem truncated a little bit.
Or set base.
Well, not only that, but there's scenes that normally would be in there that are just missing.
Oh.
They're like, okay, here's point A and here's point D. Well, I guess we can figure out what B and C were, but they weren't shown. And I thought that was weird.
That so much, yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
I thought the pacing was a little off, but I couldn't really, point it.
It's okay. So you've got to have those moments of peril,
right,
for the end of the episodes. And if you have to, you pad to get to that moment of peril, or if you have to, you cut down to get to that moment of peril.
See, I wish they weren't so tight in their writing, because you can end episodes on other cliffhangers other than the action. Oh, the hero's about to die. He's about to die again this episode. And, it was just a hologram. It's just a recording. It's not really a supernova. It's like, we'll end it on a sad note, a curious, what's the mystery?
Okay. There are 3 main things they ended on. Okay, somebody's about to die.
Yeah. That one a lot.
Big revelation.
Not very often, that one.
True, but a lot of times there is a big revelation. And the third one, very occasionally, is on a happy note. Troughton with the Daleks playing train. They're playing train.
Yeah.
They're playing. Every once in a while, they ended on a happy note that is significant for some reason.
Yeah. So either someone's about to die.
That's most of the time is the threat. Most of the time.
Someone about to die. Or a big reveal while someone is about to die.
Sometimes it's just a big reveal.
Or a nice happy moment after someone had previously almost died.
The big reveals...
Or is about to almost die.
The big reveals like... Invasion of Time. End of episode 4, you find out it wasn't the Shimmering guys, and they're gone, and suddenly the Suntarans show up.
Yeah.
That's a big reveal.
Yeah.
No one's necessarily in threat of dying immediately, but it's a big reveal. There are others like that throughout the show. Like when you find out that the princess is a 6th part of the Key of Time, in the Armageddon Factor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big reveal, and those happen more frequently than you think. However, the classic is the cliffhanger. Yeah. All right.
It just feels so cliche.
By this point, season 24,
Yeah.
it's fairly cliche, but yeah, we're in season 24 now. Okay, so the Doctor is convinced by the Rani that she's Mel because she looks enough like her, and
Not at all. Looks like,
okay.
She looks like Cruella de Vil with the eyebrows.
Okay, to be fair,
white powdered face.
To be fair, she affects Mel's voice and mannerisms very well.
Yeah.
A great job to the actress, Mark O'Brien or something like that, Maddie O'Brien or something. I can't remember, but she did a great job.
There's a lot of good acting in this one. We had the emotional teary-eyed scene, which is like an effect they don't normally jump for, is the close-up and the fake tears.
The Lycations, the couple, the older couple, what were their name? Oh no, I'm sorry, I was pointing at your notepad.
Bayes was the leader.
Yeah.
Sarn was the one that died.
His daughter.
Icona was the one running around with Mel.
Yep.
And Faroon was the old lady.
Yeah, Barris and Faroon had great chemistry. It's subtly done, but they had great chemistry.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently, the Rani is on this planet to do this big, crazy, giant experiment, and she's going about and stealing, in the style of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah.
She's going through history and stealing geniuses from throughout history. And she has Einstein, she has Hypatia, she has Louis Pasteur, etc., etc. And
she's abducting them for their brain waves.
Right. She's sort of
she has this
Margarine Undead.
Yeah.
When they harness the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of the same scenario.
She's working out this one problem to solve what, her grand plan, and she needs the extra brain power to process it.
So she needs a particular piece of a laboratory fixed, and only the Doctor can do it because he was apparently great in thermodynamics back when they were in school and university. And so she crashes his TARDIS, brings him in, convinces him that she's Mel, and she is tedious in trying to get him to fix this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
not very subtle.
Not subtle. Yeah,
especially when she looks into the camera, talks in her normal voice, and the Doctor was like, "What was that?"
She does a great.
Oh, nothing, Doctor.
She does a great job because it's like the Doctor's talking, and it's like, wait, you don't think you're superior to me? She says, "Oh, of course I'm a doctor," and then she rolls her eyes over here where you can't see it. She does a lot of that. It's really good.
It is, but like a lot of stuff seems really clever and conniving, and then a lot of other stuff just seems really obvious. It's like, well, how could he not see that? And it's this really frustrating back and forth of he's figuring it out, this really clever thing he's suspicious of, but then this totally obvious thing he's just totally sails along with.
Amnesia and post-regeneration fuzziness.
Well, like, she talks in a different voice.
Occasionally, but yeah.
I don't know.
So, anyway, she's trying to convince him to fix this.
I'm conflicted on this.
Yeah.
Whole scene, the whole scenario.
She's trying to get him to fix this machine. He's so good at thermodynamics. And she spends most of the episode doing that. In the meantime, there's Beirut and Sarah?
Beirut and Sarn.
So, apparently that's a father-daughter. This race of Lycations are being held basically hostage by the Rani. So, Beirut has to collaborate with her, otherwise she's going to kill his people. And he's the leader. So Sarn is berated by her, like heavily. And then Sarn effects an escape. She runs away. In the meantime, you have you have Mel, who What's
She's
his name?
running around with, runs into Icona.
Yeah, Icona. So Icona's a location, and apparently all the other locations are cool, or at least kind of cool with what's going on. He's the rebel.
The locations kind of look like Star Wars Twi'leks, except without the tentacly things. They're green, and like they have the weird head thing.
And some major ass hair.
And a big skull cone or something. That part's kind of sad. You don't see that until
It's very 80s. Their wardrobe is so 80s. But anyway, so Sarn effects an escape. She runs around. She bumps into Mel, and then Sarn takes a tack off to one side.
Yeah.
Hits a tripwire, and she ends up in this force field trap that bounces a couple of times and explodes. Looks like a cat's eye, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're seeing a big ball of death.
Yeah.
Like
and
what was that
it
show
explodes.
that we were watching? The Prisoner.
The Prisoner.
Yeah.
We need to watch
Like
that.
the big ball from The Prisoner.
Like
it comes and it swallows up Sarn, and it bounces away, and then hurls itself at the rock and explodes. She's vaporized. Instant skeleton.
Yep, instant skeleton, no meat left.
Gruesome.
So, yeah, it's really gruesome. So, family show. Cheers.
First death.
First death. There will be more. Alright. So, alright. So, Icona grabs Mel, thinks she's one of the baddies with and friends with the Rani. And he drags her away. And he drags her through the same rock quarry we see every time on Doctor Who.
Yeah, they have this fun. You have the same caliche pit that is every space planet that's not Earth.
Yeah.
And sometimes also on Earth.
And
they have this fun back and forth where she's not really sure what's happening at first. She's like, is this guy rescuing me? Am I his prisoner? And he's like, you're one of them and you murder people. And she gets angry. Why are you accusing me? And,
stop accusing
and eventually
me.
she figures out, he thinks I'm one of the bad people. And he's exchanging me. He wants to exchange me for a different prisoner. Which
Correct.
is Baeus?
Yeah, Baeus.
So Baeus is... Why is he so he's a collaborating prisoner?
He is because, it's like if somebody sticks a gun to your wife's head.
Yeah. So why do...
And you do what they tell you to do, you're kind of collaborating, but you're also kind of under hostage, you know?
So why would Icona think that they just do a prisoner exchange or something?
Idealistic naivete.
Yeah.
Right. So...
A plan doomed to fail.
Yeah.
He's the leader of these people that they've enslaved, and he's their hostage. And he's like, they'll definitely exchange her for this random person I found.
Well, he thinks that she is one of the Rani's people, which is odd.
A Time Lord?
Well, he only sees the humanoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and humans and Time Lords look the same.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so they keep running through and running and running and running and running. She ends up saving his life by stopping him from falling into a trap with a tripwire. She's like, okay, now do you believe me? I'm not one of the bad guys. She's like, okay, I believe you. And then, in the meantime...
Never says thank you, by the way.
Correct. Although he saves her life later on. Yeah. So, tit for tat. So, the doctor, in the meantime, is like becoming petulant. He's like, why am I doing this? Why am I working on this thing? I don't want to be working on this thing when I don't know what it does. Because he has amnesia, and he doesn't remember. So finally, he keeps going to the Rani, who is dressed up as Mel.
You ever see those videos where they jostle the kid awake and he's in the deep sleep and they're like, come on, we gotta get ready for school, we're gonna be late. It's like Saturday. He goes, what?
Is that TikTok?
I think it was like Vine or YouTube.
Okay.
This was like an older.
Vine is a long time ago. Yeah.
Not that long. Don't say that. Make me feel old.
You're like half my age.
I'm hoping they bring Vine back. Because Vine was like the cool TikTok before the Musical.ly TikTok stuff came around with the less cool generation, right?
Right.
Vine was for millennials. So then Twitter sees Vine really killing it. They're like, we're going to buy this company and make money off of it. They buy Vine. Almost immediately after, they go, oh, this isn't profitable. And they shut it down. Even though it's doing great by itself. But Elon Musk bought Twitter, which means he now has the Vine IP because they bought it and then closed it down. So he could bring it back as a competitor to TikTok because they're doing the whole, politicians are talking about TikTok's a national security threat in China, and we'll let you we won't ban TikTok if you sell it to like an American CEO. So it would be the perfect plan for Elon Musk to bring Vine back, be like, hey, look, this is kind of the same thing.
We'll see what happens.
But it's not a big security threat.
I'm not on any social media except this YouTube and Rumble for these videos.
Rumble.
But I'm not on Twitter or Vine or any of that.
You're on the Insider forums, Doctor Who forums. Is that Reddit?
It's not really social media, but no, it's not Reddit. It's Digital Spy.
Digital Spy, that's the one. Is Digital Spy the one you go to in the 2000s for video games cheat codes? Huh. Maybe.
I don't do video game cheat codes. No. So anyway,
up, down, down, left, right.
I remember that.
BA.
I remember that.
Start.
But no. Okay.
Contra.
Yeah, like I said, I remember that. Or at least
everyone knows the Contra code, yeah.
Alright. So anyway, the doctor, who is still kind of hazy and stuff, gets the Rani, who he thinks is Mel. They go to his TARDIS to get a piece he needs. Mm-hmm. And he needs this piece. And she's like, well, wouldn't it be your TARDIS? He's like, oh yeah, it's in my TARDIS. And then he does the whole classic 1980s trope, and at this point Doctor Who trope of trying on different clothes to see what he wants his garb to be, what his costume to be for that doctor, that incarnation.
He throws on the Carmen Sandiego outfit.
Yep, he throws on the last season purple outfit of Tom Baker.
The Napoleon outfit.
Napoleon, an hussar outfit. Mm-hmm. He does the Fifth Doctor's outfit. He does a variation of the Third Doctor's outfit.
Yeah, I didn't even notice those.
Yeah, and the frills.
Oh yeah, I remember the frills.
And then he settles on his actual current costume, which
you'll be relieved to know there's still question marks on
his
clothing.
We started with the Fifth Doctor, to be fair.
He has the best of question marks.
Right. See the question mark on the Fifth Doctor's collar? And on the Sixth Doctor's collar. Yeah. But his is a sweater of question marks.
So these guys had questionable colored shirts, and he has a questionable vest.
Sweater, yeah.
Sweater vest.
So, yeah,
his... It must be hot. It must be cold in Europe.
It's cold in England, yeah. It's colder than here by about 20-something degrees. There's a reason when they settled America, the English came over and settled in New England first because it was colder. You get down to southern states, it's much warmer.
Oh, that's a good thing.
Well, warm is good. I like warm.
Right. But they settled in Europe because they wanted to be colder.
Right, so they settled in New England, yeah. Alright.
Is that better for crops or something?
No, it's just what the climate they were used to.
Ah.
Hot tea, iced tea. Hot tea, iced tea.
Which do you prefer?
Generally iced tea, but in the winter I drink hot tea. But yeah. So anyway.
Coffee. You like iced coffee?
I don't like coffee at all.
No coffee?
I do not like coffee.
Coffee?
Okay. Alright. So anyway, they go in there and he chooses his outfit. We've got our 7th Doctor fully garbed. Then they head back and she keeps trying to convince him to do stuff. And Icona has finally released Mel, and she ends up running into a trap.
Immediately.
Yeah, almost immediately. And the trap bounces around like the pinball we saw earlier.
So why does this one not work, but the one that killed Sarn immediately works? It tosses Sarn around and it explodes on impact, but Mel's doesn't do that.
Alright, hold on. So Mel's in this death trap, super spinny ball of force field thing. End of episode 1.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Episode 2.
Cliffhanger.
Yep, cliffhanger. The ball bounces around, and just like with the earlier one, it hits a wall, bounces off. The second wall killed Sarn.
Yeah.
But in this case, it doesn't hit a wall. She gets lucky and it lands in water, which apparently makes it not explode.
I feel like it had several bounces.
There might have been a second bounce. I don't remember, but there was definitely one. But then it lands in water, and she gets lucky, and the water keeps it from exploding. And Icona, runs up.
He knows how to disarm it.
Well, he's trying. She's like, "Have you ever done this before?" He's like, "No, this is the first time." And if you don't. She's screaming. I swear, Mel was hired for her ability to scream because she screams at a fever pitch. He's like, "Stop screaming, or this will be my last time." But he manages to deactivate the force field, and he takes the cylinder that he unplugs from the force field, throws it in the water, and it explodes.
So it does explode in water.
Once he deactivates it and throws it in.
Oh, once it's deactivated, then it explodes.
Well, the force field. Okay, so essentially, you have an explosive device.
Charge.
You have an explosive device, like a stick of dynamite.
Yeah.
Right. When it hits and jars, it'll blow up. It didn't when the force field hit the water because it didn't hit the water. But when he throws in the water, that's enough force for it to explode.
So why wouldn't they just attach the explosive device to be triggered by the tripwire in the first place?
Because the tripwire...
Instead of adding all this, you get sucked up in a ball and it bounces around and it will probably blow up. Unless it bounces off course. They could just take that same charge and put the tripwire directly into that trip. Boom.
Because in theory, the explosion might only, depending on the tripwire it was hit, maim the person but not kill them. But if they're caught in a force field wherein all the explosion goes into, it'll vaporize them like it did the one Sarn.
Except when it doesn't.
Because it hit water.
I guess.
Mel was lucky. Okay. You want to advance
plot
the plot
armor.
at all?
Okay,
Yeah, plot armor.
Okay.
You get a beer. Alright.
You do the thing.
Get 2 beers. Oh my.
My needle.
Okay. So Mel is talking with Icona, and she's like, "Okay, you don't know the doctor. We gotta find the doctor because there was nobody in the TARDIS with me. No, you were alone. Okay, we gotta find the doctor." So she deducts eventually that the doctor's going to be in the evil lair because obviously they were kidnapped. So the doctor was kidnapped because they won his genius, which is absolutely the case. Lots of getting chased around by the bat people, tetraps. This fills up a lot of episode 1, episode 2. There's about 5 or 7 minutes of panning in each episode of running around the rock quarry, being chased by the tetraps. They manage to stop the tetraps with a gun that Icona has, which why he did not have it on him the entire time is unexplainable. but they had to run around for half an hour to find it, hidden away. So Mel finally makes it into the evil lair. Think Dr. Evil kind of thing. And she runs into the doctor. Now the doctor thought, because the Rani had a screen video of Mel, the doctor thought that must be the Rani, that Mel is the Rani, because the Rani presented herself as Mel. And so the doctor and Mel meet up, and the doctor's like, "You're the Rani." Mel's like, "No, I'm Mel." And she's like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm the doctor." She said, "You're not the doctor," because she hadn't seen him since he regenerated. And he's like, "You can feel my 2 Time Lord pulses and you'll know I'm the doctor. And I want to feel yours. Make sure you don't have 2, you just have 1 pulse." So eventually she feels his pulses and he has 2 and she knows he's the doctor. And then he goes, "Okay, you." And he feels her pulse, knows she only has 1 pulse, so he knows she's Mel. So he realizes he was taken in by the Rani, pretending to be Mel. And he's like, so they're talking, and he's dealing with what he was trying to do that the Rani wanted him to do. And he's like, "Well, I don't know how I could have been taken in by this, but and Mel's like, we should go, we should just leave." And the doctor's like, "No, we can't leave the locations up to the Rani. We can't leave them in our hands."
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Welcome to Drunk Doctor Who, episode
148.
wherein we discuss the 148th serial of Doctor Who. Thank you for joining us. Are we on episode 4 yet, or?
No, we're on episode 2. Alright, so anyway, the locations...
How do French people say it? Du. Dux.
Part du. Alright.
With an X. Why would they throw a silent X in there? For no reason.
There's a lot of silent letters in French.
It's just not phonetical.
And in British English, because they were dominated by the French for so long, lots of those letters are in there. Like you saw in the subtitles, maneuver.
Maneuver.
Yeah, MANOUVR. Right. There's a lot of extra letters. Webster and Benjamin Franklin removed a lot of those here in the U.S.
Why did they put them in there to begin with?
Because for a long time, the United Kingdom was controlled by the French.
It was like a status thing. Only rich people could learn how to... It was like a barrier to entry. Like, if you're not smart, you're not going to learn how to spell all these weird words.
Okay. There's some of that in there, but they were dominated by the French.
Like the French Revolution, right? Is that when it came around? Because they're like, we don't want to sound like the rich people sound. We want to make a whole new language. And they started like getting rid of words and adding words.
So the French court dominated the UK.
Okay.
The peasants spoke English, but
yes,
in the upper echelons, the royalty spoke French.
Right.
So English evolved, but the French did not. But so much of
why is that?
What do you mean? Why is that?
The rich people speaking French, the language wouldn't evolve, but poor people speaking English made the language change and evolve.
Because rich people have records and they know how to read and write back then, and the peasants did not. So the language changed over time.
So
became more simple.
So like what the kids are doing nowadays.
Kinda, yeah. But so yeah,
I don't know how to spell charisma, but I got some Riz or something.
Charisma. Alright, so a lot of the English spellings in the Queen's English has a lot of French roots and a lot of French words and a lot of French spellings. Yeah. Whereas in America, we rooted all of that out because a lot of extra silent letters we didn't need.
Yeah.
All right.
But they weren't necessary to begin with. Why'd they add them in there?
French.
Well, why does French have the weird letters? Because they use the same alphabet, don't they?
Yeah, you know my last name is Guimbolo, Cajun French, right? And I've got a lot of extra letters in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but what?
E-A-U-X is pronounced as O. E-A-U-X.
It's like
that's 3 extra letters for the O sound.
So that turned into O-U-G-H, the ow.
What?
O-U-G-H, like through. Well, O-U-G-H makes ooh. It has the most pronunciation of any. Okay.
Sorry for this 3-hour episode, folks. Okay. Welcome back to Drunk Doctor Who. We spent weeks doing cleanup. We did the first third-party thing. We did a whole bunch of heroes and villains and whatnot. And now we're back to the main show. And
you know we're back on the main stuff because 4 episodes. The sun actually went down. We're still recording. Full page of notes. Episode 2. Where were we at in episode 2?
Alright.
Doctor's being surrounded, right? He's in the...
Not yet. Okay. So, locations on the other side of the door that the Rani had locked the Doctor in. Here, the Doctor talking to Mel, saying, Mel's like, we should go. He's like, well, we can't leave the locations up to the Rani. She's evil.
Yeah. And
the locations on the other side of the door, what's his name? Basim?
Bayes.
Bayes and his wife, Fusha? Faroon. They're hearing the Doctor say this. They're like, he's on our side. He doesn't know we're here. He has no reason to say this other than that he's on our side. They open the door. They give him the code, 953, which happens to be the Doctor and the Rani's age. So
we actually now know exactly how old the Doctor is.
In Gallifreyan years,
So what's the difference there?
We don't know.
We don't know the conversion.
We don't know the conversion,
right? So with time travel, doesn't that complicate their whole time, like their linearity of?
Yes.
How do they even know what year it is?
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
And so in Gallifreyan years,
remember that 500-year diary?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Because that's how they know. They keep a diary.
That's when it was real vague. Okay.
Alright, so the Rani's coming back. She went off to get a sheet of circuit board that would work for her machine. And Mel and Faroon get the heck out of there. And the Doctor's like, okay, so the Rani shows up, and the Doctor's kind of doing things, questioning and stalling. And she realizes that he knows who she is rather than being Mel. And she's like, okay, Doctor, basically you're going to die. And he wraps his scarf around her, binds her arms to her torso, pushes her onto the main table.
He got her with the, hey, what's that over there?
Yeah, hey, what's that over there?
And she looked.
And he runs away. And he ends up in this pit where the Bat people stay.
The classic scarf.
Yeah. She goes down there to look for him. He's hiding, and she leaves and suspects he got away another way. And he kind of comes out, and then all the Bat people are coming at him. And all the Tetraps. And he's like, I'm sorry. And they all converge on him. End of episode 2.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger.
It's all okay, though, because Bayes shows up. He lets him out.
That's episode 3. I'm getting another drink. You keep and use the restroom. You keep going over episode 3.
Distracting the Bat people with their molten bubblegum slop that they eat. They go crazy for it. I think that's really...
I think it's supposed to be blood or something.
Blood, because they're like vampire bats.
Yeah.
So the one intelligent Tetrad we think is, he can talk and he's kind of clever. We think that probably the Rani genetically enhanced him somehow. But from seeing the other Tetraps, you say, oh, okay, so not normally able to talk and kind of think like humans, because they're more feral, the ones that are surrounding the doctor. And it's almost like, it looks like they want to eat him, but no, they're just hungry for the slop. They thought he was the farmer Joe coming down to feed him or something. So that's why I think Bayus was just able to pull the slop lever and distracted them, and they went away from the doctor. And Bayus and the doctor were able to get out of the bat cage, basically. Whew. What else? So, there's a lot of Scooby-Dooing, a lot of running around Mel's laboratory. We got Mel and Icona on the loose. And then we have the doctor and Bayos inside the laboratory. The doctor's trying to get loose, but not before he tinkers and messes around and tries to kind of suss out what the Rani's plan is. And I'm sure something else happened, but the doctor eventually gets away. And there's he's it's another one of those traps, the tripwires. But he's stopped by Icona. He goes, "Not another step." The doctor goes, "Why are you threatening me?" He goes, "No, I'm trying to save your life. There's look down there. There's a tripwire." And the doctor goes, "Oh, well, okay, thank you." And then all of a sudden, another tetrap shows up, big beastie bat thing. Not the smart one that's like the Rani's assistant, just some random one, I suppose. It shows up, and the doctor tussles with it. Icona's able to distract the bat with the firework glitter they light off, which I guess messes with the tetrap's optic nerve or something, because we get that point of view from the tetrap and how they have like these weird kind of bug fly eyeballs. And then once you see the tetrap, because it doesn't really reveal what they look like until like episode, into episode 2, we kind of get glimpses of it. And I feel like that's because they weren't exactly sure what they wanted the tetraps to look like, because they made this big prosthetic thing that they hid behind a rock, and they made them look absolutely massive. And then I figure, they cut that at some point, and they're like, well, that's not practical. How are we gonna? We want several of them, so I think they just stuck them in the human-sized outfits. Talking about the tetraps.
Oh yeah, the bats. Yeah.
So after the glitter bomb goes off, distracts the tetrap, the doctor does something we don't normally see, and instead of just getting away, he just kind of pushes the tetrap into the tripwire.
It's actually a little bit like the Sixth Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Sixth Doctor is
self-preservation.
Yeah, he's willing to kill. Unlike the Fifth Doctor.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Personality differences with different
right,
doctor generations.
You could claim self-preservation here, and you could also claim the fact that he was still kind of a little off from the regeneration. But yeah, push the guy in the trap.
And he comments on that himself when the Rani's gaslighting him, manipulating him, and telling him stuff. And he goes, "Oh, the more I find out about myself, the less I like me." And then he goes, "Is this what my personality is? This regeneration? Am I this cranky person, or what's going on here?" Cantankerous. Yeah. Cantankerous.
All right. So let's see. Okay, so the doctor eventually meets up with Ikoria right there.
Right, Ikoria set off the glitter bomb, saved him from distracted the tetrap. He pushes it into the trap. That's our second death, I think.
Yes.
Is the tetrap.
Yes. So the doctor was told to go to the place of relaxment,
their weird Nirvana thing where they're
it was
a bunch of. I don't think I wrote down.
It wasn't the place of relaxment or the
pleasure house.
Ideal. No.
It's a cool place. where they're drugged out.
Yeah, it's essentially an opium den.
And all their needs are met, and they just become complacent, and...
It's the internet for millennials.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I don't really get what was going on.
Sanctuary of idleness.
Did Rani put them in that?
Right, to keep the population from rebelling.
From rebelling.
Yeah. It's a sanctuary of the temple of idleness.
Idleness.
Right, so
with Killer Bug.
Yeah, the doctor and Ikora make it there. The doctor's like, well, Brent never told me I would find what I need to here.
So why did they make a Magic the Gathering card expansion about Ikora?
No, it's Ikora, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, not Ikora.
Okay.
Alright, so Doctor gets to the place of idleness, finds out it's more or less a pleasure dome opium den.
Oh, Icona.
Okay. Icona. They don't show any drugs being taken. They show people lounging around, eating, maybe drinking. I'm not sure if I remember that. But
we can I think they kind of infer the fact that they're on something, because he goes, can't we ask them the question? He goes,
you'll interrupt the question.
Yeah, and then he asks them a question. They kind of look up and then don't even acknowledge him anymore.
Right, it's like the places, well, besides an opium den, it's like the places inside Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy.
Or if you've seen Chicken Run 2, same thing as the chicken farm that they put the chickens in before they...
Have you seen Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy?
No. Have you seen Chicken Run 2?
Have not, but...
See, we're getting both sides of the...
Put Barbarella on the list.
It's on the list.
Put it on the list. It's a great bad movie.
Barbarella. Oh, a bad movie?
Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy.
Bad movie going on... Duran Duran?
That's the name of the bad guy in Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy.
Is Duran?
Duran.
Duran.
The group takes its name from that bad guy in that movie.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
What's the bad guy's name in Tron? You ever see that one?
Yes.
The original one?
Yeah, it was the same. The guy who plays that villain, who played all the villains in the 70s, shows up in Doctor Who later on.
Yeah, I think we talked about this.
We did.
I couldn't remember his name in Tron.
I can't remember the actor's name, but he's fantastic, or maybe was fantastic. I don't know if he's best way or not.
Did you like the second Tron movie? The revival kind of...
It was interesting.
Spiritual successor?
Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
It was interesting. The way they did the young him and the old him together with the computer generation
I thought the de-aging was
it was good.
The best we had ever seen.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, the de-aging in the latest Indiana Jones movie might be better, but I'll probably never watch it. But at the time, that was probably the best one I'd ever seen.
That one was terrible. Would they just let poor 80s Harrison Ford just retire in peace? Why does he keep agreeing to do these?
Money?
He doesn't need the money.
Well, I mean...
He's so old.
True. But if you could leave your family that you love $180 million instead of $170 million, why not leave them the extra $10 million, you know? It's like Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis hit some sort of disease that messes with his mind. And he can't remember lines and he can't remember stuff, but he cashed out on his name and his reputation on the way out. And he made a bunch of crappy movies that paid him he was there for one day. They paid him $1 million. They fed him his lines through an earpiece.
He was wearing an earpiece in the last movie.
And he did he did 20 of these. Yeah. But sure, I mean, if you know you're on the way out, cash in. Cash in your chips, give your family the money, and they're better off than they were before, because what's it worth to you if you're going out, you know?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's
a lot of money. I just imagine I'd be tired if I had trouble getting out of the bathtub, I wouldn't be like, let me go film an entire movie.
No,
Be on set for 2 years.
He filmed a day or two
of the new,
and they cut his scenes into the movie.
Yeah, I'd totally do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, and poor Bruce Willis, dude. I love you. I'm sorry you're going through what you're going through, and I doubt you'll ever see this video, but loved you in so many movies. You know, Fifth Element, Sixth Sense, Die Hard, etc., etc. Unbreakable. Oh my gosh.
Did you like the sequels to those? The Split and Mr. Glass?
I did like Split and
Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass was okay. Split was phenomenal, and Bruce Willis was barely in it, but Split was really good. It was. Anyway, so I mean, if I'm 80 years old and I'm kind of losing my mind, cash in and give the money to someone you love, you know.
Okay, that's why we keep doing podcasts. Just for the money.
What money?
It's like.
Alright. I think we have our 65th subscriber recently.
Hey!
Yay! 65. Alright.
Need 4 more. I'm gonna go make 4 YouTube accounts and subscribe.
No.
And then as we gain a subscriber, I'll unsubscribe.
Okay, so you knew this was going to be a long episode because we got the new doctor. And it's our first time back to the main podcast in a few months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Okay, so.
Holiday break, kind of.
Well, third-party stuff.
Third-party.
Catch up. Lots of heroes and villains. So lots of movies and stuff, yeah. Alright. Anyway, so the doctor finally makes it to the Palace of Leisure or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out there's a big old disco ball there. And
what is it for?
What's it for? And while they're wondering what's it for, it releases some killer insects, killer bees.
They came out of the ball, right?
Well,
one
ball. Section of the disco ball, yeah.
Okay.
And apparently they can survive in there without oxygen or something until they're released. And they were little green light laser pointers.
Laser lights.
Yeah. But
killer laser lights.
4 lycations died from these things.
Yeah, that's where all the other deaths came from.
Well, there are a couple more, but
1 lycation dies.
The 4.
Then
there are 3 down below and the 1 up top.
Tetrap dies, and then we have you don't think it's going to be a ton of deaths. We see 1 death in an episode, and another death in an episode. And 4 people die in 1 scene.
Yeah.
Really bumps up that total.
and then, okay,
all of a sudden.
We'll get to that in a minute. So, the doctor's like, okay, so this is where I think there were scenes cut out. So, the doctor's like, okay, we need to take care of this. And Formosa, what's her name?
Faroon?
She's like, oh, I've got a message for you. Because the doctor had stolen this liquid link, the mercurial liquid link, whatever it was called in this.
So she says, help us, doctor, you're our only hope.
Yeah, so normally she was told that he could trade that link for Mel, because Mel was captured. The Tetrops captured her. 1 sticks out its tongue, touches her neck, kind of gross. And she gets all petrified, like completely immobilized.
Stiff as a board.
Yeah.
Like in Skyrim.
Right, which is something what they could do. So,
you ever play any of the Elder Scrolls games?
No.
Like the parallel? Okay.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff. I think you would like them.
Let me get my computer fixed. Okay. Anyway, so she gets captured, and they're like, okay, we want this link back that we need, and we'll return it for Mel. He's like, anyway, so Faroon is just about to tell us the doctor, and there's no scene where she tells it to him.
Right.
There's no scene where he decides to do this. There's no scene where they tell the Rani that he accepts the offer, they just skip directly to him exchanging it for Mel.
There's
and
a couple of points in the serial where I was like, I was looking down, I looked up, and I'm like, I must have missed something. I'll ask Catter later. Well, I guess it just wasn't there.
Episodes 1 and 2 are a little drawn out.
I thought I was just missing.
Episodes 1 and 2 are a little drawn out. Episodes 3 and 4 are very fast paced, and they skip some stuff.
Yeah. Why would they do that?
Cliffhangers. Gotta hit those cliffhangers.
Yeah.
So doctor gives him the liquid link, whatever.
How do they afford to put gold on every bottle? Like, that's gotta get expensive.
It's not gold.
It's not?
No.
Looks like it.
It's gold foil. It's colored gold, but it's not gold.
They make actual gold, like, flakes.
Gold Schlager.
Gold paper. And they put it on food and you eat it. You eat gold, Hatter.
I don't. Anyway, so the doctor trades a link for Mel.
Tastes good.
Turns out Mel's just a hologram. Doctor's like, no.
Oh, got him. So she has the fluid link and she still has Mel. And the doctor's been duped.
Yep. And Mel is revived. She's in the bat lair, all stiff and petrified.
Boy, that was a terrifying scene. If I was a child watching Doctor Who, and I see the companion petrified, hanging from her feet from the ceiling.
In a bat ceiling.
Yeah, it's kind of like the scene in
Surrounded
Star
by
Wars,
the bats.
but more terrifying than the scene in Star Wars.
So they revive her, and it's like, hey, we need you because you're a computer expert. And that's the key. She's a computer expert.
And Star Wars Episode 5 wasn't a children's show.
Well, no, it was PG.
Well, that's because they hadn't came out with PG-13 yet.
You are correct. They had not at that time. But yeah.
But Doctor Who's not parental guided. Well, it's a family show now, so that's the difference from
families. It's
G
PG.
to PG.
Yeah, that's the G to PG. No longer a children's show, now it's a family show.
Ah.
They revive.
They put some pretty violent stuff in some PG films.
Yeah, they used to before everybody got all wussified, and now nobody can handle anything.
Was it PG? Did Star Wars come out before the TV ratings? When did they start rating movies? Like G.
Wait.
R?
When did they start rating movies?
Yeah.
In like the 40s.
Really?
Yeah.
And they had the same ones. They said this is G, this is R.
More or less. Yeah. And this was okay. So in the 20s and 30s, they would come out with blue movies. Blue, adult.
Those
blue means adult in this
films.
case. Dirty films. And eventually the government's like, we're going to have to do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie industry went, what if we take care of it? We'll take care of it. We'll have the American Association of Rating. Okay, we'll do this. We will do it ourselves. The government's like, okay, as long as it's within reason. Because they had other weird codes, but then they changed it into the rating system, and there was G, PG, and R, and there was an unofficial X, which are movies that were way beyond R that never bothered to get rated.
They eventually came out with like this in between R and X as NC-17.
Oh no, it's NC-17 is basically X, but it's official as opposed to the unofficial.
Unofficial.
So you can have a movie like Showgirls with lots of sex and it's NC-17, it's officially rated, and then you can put out a porn movie that's X, it's not officially rated because X was never an official rating.
So why 17 instead of 18?
Because some states in the U.S. acknowledge 17 as adulthood instead of 18. Mostly the older northeastern states. Because in the United Kingdom, 16 is adulthood. Or in some cases for like consensual sex, it's even younger at 15.
Really?
Okay, the older the culture,
would the drinking age be 21, and you have to be 21 for tobacco, but you can be drafted drafted at 18, considered an adult at 17, even though you're still in high school. The whole system doesn't make sense.
Correct. I think there should be one age for adulthood, period, and that's 21. It. But the older the culture, the younger the adulthood, because people lived shorter lives back then. So in Jewish culture, you're a man at 13. You're a woman at 13.
Oh.
Isn't
that the same in the quinceañera? Is that 13?
15.
15. Oh.
Yeah. So as time moves forward, cultures get older and older in terms of adulthood.
With the life expectancy.
Right, life expectancy improves.
So why wouldn't these older cultures keep up with the
tradition? Thousands of years of tradition. So in England, because it's an older culture, the age of consent is younger. The age of adulthood is younger. And there's still like an age 1 year difference between drinking and being drafted in the United Kingdom. Here it's 3 years difference. You know?
So what on earth is going on in Japan? What's their whole system?
What the heck are you talking about? How do you segue to Japan?
What is Japan doing?
In terms of what?
I don't know. Legality. They have like weird. It feels like a whole culture really fixated on little girls in school dresses and.
Okay, I agree with you on that. Okay, Japan.
But that's against the law there too, right?
Japan is a weird fetish culture.
Why is it so commercialized?
It's all a weird fetish culture.
I guess.
Okay.
So let's go back to
episode 3
about the Doctor Who fetish culture.
Okay, episode 3. Where the hell were we?
No, we're on episode. Oh wait.
We're towards the end of episode 3.
So the hologram Mel was exchanged for the...
Right, and it's not the real Mel. So the real Mel was revived because she's a computer genius. She's going to help Baruf. What's his name?
Which one? Bayes?
Bayes. She's going to help Bayes. Okay, now this is the weird part. Despite the fact that she is a screamer, despite the fact that she is not helping whatsoever, despite the fact that she wants to sabotage and convince everybody not to help the Rani keeps her alive.
And
why?
And why are you asking me the questions?
I'm just saying. This makes no sense.
Exactly. I don't have
contextually.
But I wrote that down too. I'm like, why is the Rani keeping Mel around, and then she's just running free around the ship? She could just
plot armor.
Yeah, it's like here you go, Bayes. You look after her or whatever, and then
and then
I'm sure that'll be fine.
The tech trap is like, you're responsible for her. Okay, so anyway, so Mel's allowed to live against all odds. She runs and she finds that the Rani is talking to a giant brain. The Doctor is captured, put in the capsule along with the other geniuses, and he's got the thing on, and the giant brain is learning about time from the Doctor being a Time Lord and the other geniuses. End of episode 3.
I bet you didn't know this, but I actually played the brain. I was the actor that they had to take the whole top of my skull off.
Pinky in the brain?
Big old brain. No, this brain in Doctor Who. You got a big old brain, man. They're like, we need someone
old enough to have played this character
with a massive brain, and then I had a frontal about it. What is it when they cut your skull?
Hey, when were you born?
And they filmed that. Well, so my intellect is so vast. My brain's so big, it kind of defies the law of time.
Alright.
Big brain.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. The Doctor's still in his cubicle going, and the giant big brain behind the door is learning about time and all that. And
my favorite part was when they had someone inside the big brain just like punching it, so there'd be like weird bulges coming out for no reason. I don't think brains actually do that. Why would they?
I have no idea. I've never looked at my brain.
We'll see.
Alright. So anyway, the doctor gets out of his cubicle, ends up confronting... what happened was, and this is what Mel said, the Rani doesn't count on the doctor's character. And so the doctor, with all of his weird, off-putting, not quite idioms, makes the giant brain that's doing all the calculations schizophrenic.
He induced
schizophrenia.
A schizophrenic multi-personality in the brain.
Right.
Just because his intellect was contributing to the processing.
And he was being so scatterbrained, so frenetic.
Interacting with the other intelligences.
So the brain can't figure things out, and she's like, the Rani's like, She runs, lets the doctor loose. She's going, I'm going to kill you. The doctor manages to subdue her, throw her into the cabinet.
She doesn't have a gun or anything. She's a terrible villain.
What
happened to the Master? The Master would have a gun.
Okay. In the meantime, all the Tetraps have left their bat cave and gone to subdue the Lycosians.
How did that happen? Did Bayus just leave the trapdoor open?
No.
Oh, she said
the one who could talk.
Oh, he's
the one who could talk. Went and talked to them in their language, and they all left.
Everyone on the planet dying.
Yeah. So there's and he finds out about that eventually. Yeah. So essentially, the doctor and Mel force the Rani into the cabinet. They go talk to the brain. The doctor's trying to figure out how to stop everything. There's a giant asteroid of dark matter that if she hits with it will explode this entire corner of the galaxy and create the chronons, which will cover the entire planet in milliseconds. And the chronons will create, with that giant brain, the capability to control the entire cosmos, time, space, everything.
So this asteroid, it's super, super, super dense.
Right.
Dark. So that's why...
Strange matter. Matter.
So that's why blowing it up with the missile would cause a big supernova gravitational collapse. Wouldn't that destroy Iconia? Like, why does she think that's just going to wrap it in the...
Lycation. No. She doesn't care if the... Tetraps dies. She doesn't care if the Lycations die. She doesn't care if the doctor dies. She's only about herself and the power.
But the planet would be destroyed by a supernova.
Everyone on the planet would be destroyed, but the planet would be covered by the chronons. And she'd be able to use it.
What are chronons?
They're time particles that enable you to... It's explained in the show. The time particles that enable you to manipulate time and space.
I thought that was...
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Okay.
What are you doing?
No.
Did you lose your pen?
No. I found it.
Okay, so anyway, in the meantime, the Tetraps have gone and have put the ankle bracelets of explosion death on the Lycations.
Because the killer bees weren't enough.
Yeah. The doctor then goes...
Not reliable, I guess.
The doctor then goes and manages to figure out how to take them off without them exploding. They put all of them...
With the help of Mel.
Right.
By short-circuiting the...
Because she's a computer genius.
Yeah.
They put all those in his umbrella. They bring all those back to the base. Like I said, episodes 3 and 4 are missing scenes. Where episodes 1 and 2 are padded. It's not the world's worst thing. It's just a point of note. So they bring all those
really pick up, yeah.
And they bring all those anklets, these bangles, and they put them around the giant brain in the main deal.
Which, I mean, wouldn't you want to do the same if you're under a house arrest? Take that off and you take
put
it
around
to your
the giant
parole
brain,
officer. Yeah.
So, anyway, the tetrap, who's intelligent and who speaks, here's the doctor talking to the Rani, saying that everything on this planet will die. Everything we leave behind will die.
Yes.
And so the tetrap hears that, overhears it, and the Rani then leaves after she sets the countdown to 150 seconds.
He says, I would very much like to leave with you.
Yeah. Instead of like, I don't want to go with you. She's like, no, you stay here and take care of the doctor. But I want to go with you. No, you stay here. And he's like, she wants to kill us all. So she heads to her TARDIS, which is a weird glowy pyramid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newer model.
Yeah, with the working Canadian circuit. And the doctor manages to short circuit. He clips a wire on the circuit board. Manages to short circuit the countdown. Yeah.
In the
yeah. Bayris, what's his name? Bayus stays behind. The doctor leaves.
So why does he need to stay behind?
If he has to if she doesn't blow up the brain, he has to kill the brain. So
with the
gun.
Okay.
Bayus stays behind, and his wife is like, "I'm gonna save you." He's like, "You've never hardly ever questioned me before. Don't start now." He does the man thing, stays behind, sacrifices himself for his wife and his people. And he closes the door, knowing what he has to do, and he can't leave.
Should we pour one out for our homie?
Let's drink one for the homie. All right. The doctor leaves.
Why was he moving the anklets around though? Because they set them all up and they started picking them up.
He just want to make sure they were properly spaced.
Oh.
Yeah. So the doctor leaves with Faroum. What's your name?
Mm-hmm.
Faroum and Mel. And they all go out, and the doctor shows up on a rock above the Rani about to enter TARDIS. He's like, aha! I've short-circuited your bomb. You will not hit the asteroid. And by the way, the locations are revolting.
So they short-circuit the countdown, the takeoff. The missile doesn't take off. But then it does.
But it's too late.
But it misses.
She missed the solstice. It misses by maybe a mile.
Why did it need to happen at the solstice? Did they explain that?
Because she had everything fixed,
and she
didn't have the computer power to do it. So she had it fixed, so it had to hit exactly.
Do you think she was a Libra or a Cancer?
Well, she was definitely a Cancer.
What are you? Are you a Leo?
Virgo.
You're a Virgo?
Much. Yeah, Virgo the Virgin. Yeah. Right. So
I don't know what I am.
Wait, what's your birthday?
August. See, so astrological signs are weird though. They don't go by months. Like some of them cut off right in the middle of a month.
Well, towards the end, usually. Towards the end. It's usually a few days off.
I don't understand.
Okay,
astrology.
My wife's birthday is on the 30th. Mine's on the 19th of September. But I'm a Virgo and she's a whatever because it changes like the 27th.
Weird stuff.
Agreed. Astrology is weird. So anyway,
why did they call it a horoscope?
Horoscope, not horror. Horoscope.
That's named after like a Greek god.
Horus is a god. Horus is an Egyptian god.
Horus.
But I don't think it's named after him.
Horoscopes are not named after Horus the god. Egyptian.
Stop manipulating the pronunciation.
How do you say Horus?
Horoscope.
Horos. is the
No.
Greek god. Horus.
Horus is the Egyptian god.
And the scope
Horoscope.
is Horos.
Horoscope.
Oh. So that's just probably named after the guy that invented it.
Probably not. Alright. They
Horus.
used lots of Greek and Latin back then.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so doctor's up on a rock and he goes, aha, the vacations are revolting and we've stopped you, you're defeated. She said, oh, you have just signed their death warrant. And she does a big giant deal on her wrist. And she explodes all the inklets, but that blows out the brain.
Yeah.
And also kills Barris.
Yeah, because he stayed behind to make sure.
To make sure the brain was dead.
So
yeah.
why is it that gosh.
She then runs away in her TARDIS. The missile misses the dark matter asteroid. Everybody's good. They acknowledge Barris's sacrifice for his people. And the Doctor and Mel take all of the geniuses, Albert Einstein, Louis Pasteur, Hypatia, etc., etc., etc. They go in the TARDIS. Doctor's like, I'll take you home. Like very much Bill and Ted's Big Adventure, although
You gotta imagine that was inspired by Doctor Who with the telephone booth and the police box.
I think Bill and Ted's Big Adventure was before this.
Really?
This was 1987. I think Bill and Ted's was like
Came out
1985 or 6.
No way.
I think so.
Huh.
Alright. So,
Well, I mean, still, with Doctor Who and the police box and the telephone booth.
right. There was
89.
89. Okay, so Bill and Ted's was inspired by this. This was 87.
I'd say so.
With the phone booth. Okay.
I think it was
Thank you, Sunshine.
a safe assumption. That's her fact checker. Oh.
Yeah, she's our fact checker. So anyway, wow, I can't believe Bill and Ted's was late 1989. So the Doctor and Mel leave, and they're going to take everybody home, and then you see a scene of the Rani in her TARDIS, and apparently the one intelligent Tetraps overheard she was going to kill them all, took all the other Tetraps into her TARDIS, and they captured her,
Right.
and they put her up and like, oh yes, we're going to make you our intelligence, and you will figure out the plasma for us, and we will be great. And they have her captured, and she is a hostage of the Tetraps in our own TARDIS.
Yep. Taste of her own medicine.
Yep.
And we never see her again.
Once more. Just once more.
You think she'll come back a fourth time?
I don't know. They're doing some weird stuff with the modern stuff, so maybe. Alright, what questions do you have?
Do you want the Rani to come back?
I wouldn't mind at all. I think Missy should have been the Rani. I really do. But
The Master's female regeneration.
I think that should have
Because
been
I feel like they're already very similar characters to Rani and the two villainous Time Lords. Like Omega was totally different, but the Master
Omega was
and Rani
friggin' nuts. Yeah.
kind of two peas in a pod. So we talked about the new opening, the cold opener, the new theme mix.
Yeah, first cold opening.
Did we talk about the Doctor's tumble? Because he tumbles twice in that first episode.
Oh yeah, the very first one where he kind of tumbles down the steps.
Yeah.
Was not planned. It was not.
So do you think he tripped, or do you think he got his cue wrong? Like
No, he just
forgot
fell.
when?
He just fell.
Because he falls over again shortly
Right.
after.
But the actor fell, and they just left it in.
They just kept it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fun. You see that in like a behind the scenes thing, or how do you find this stuff out? Digital stuff, like the bonus, the behind the scenes stuff.
Sometimes,
making
but
of.
a lot of it is just common knowledge. Because other people watch the behind the scenes stuff.
The Rani is Mel equals the X. It's not a question. It's just an
A statement,
observation.
yeah.
Yeah. Woo! Cruella DeVille eyebrows.
Yeah, she was okay. The Rani cuts a fine figure. That actress was good looking. She's obviously 40, 42, but she cuts a fine figure. But she's not the 27-year-old Mel, you know?
Right.
I mean, she just can't quite cut that because of her age. And she has
Call that a butterface.
Butterface?
Yeah, she's great butterface.
Oh, that was horrible. I love it. Alright.
Alright, so we talked about how the Rani got into the TARDIS, the key, and the doctor can't figure it out. Okay, we talked about that. Oh, did we talk about the Icatians and Naruto running? How they run like this with their arms?
No, we didn't. But yeah, the Ikora.
Yeah, Ikora.
Yeah,
keeps
he's
running
got
around
the Naruto running thing. Species, I think, you know, whatever.
less wind resistance. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. What about his physiology could be so different than a human's that you go from to... I think he's
No
just
clue.
weird.
No clue.
We don't see any of the others running like that, so I think he's just a weirdo.
Well, we don't see any other locations running.
I think he just watches
Ever.
a lot of anime.
Possibly, but we don't know if it's specific to a species or just specific to him. We have no idea.
We also talked about how we got a specific number for the Doctor's age
953, yeah.
in Time Lord years.
Yeah. That decreases when he starts translating it to Earth years.
It decreases.
Yes.
So Earth years are longer than Gallifreyan
Apparently, yeah.
years? And they talk about that later.
No, they never talk about it, but he just gives a different age.
So the Doctor and the Rani are the same age because
Yes.
I'm guessing they're in the same class together?
Yes, and that's how she knew he was so good in thermodynamics.
Gotcha. Scarf gag. We talked about the Doctor killing a Tetrap and whether or not that was necessary or not. We also talked about why they just let Mel run around on the ship, kind of not under strict guard.
Yeah, because,
and then
you know, plot armor.
the supernova, and that's about it. That's all the questions I have.
Okay. Alright, next time.
Next time.
Dum, bum, 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 bum.
Same bet.
Paradise Towers.
Paradise Towers.
Which is actually a personal favorite of mine.
How many towers are we talking about?
4.
4 Paradise Towers.
Well, 4 episodes.
Oh.
Paradise Towers. This whole season is interesting and odd. Tom and the Rani, Paradise Towers, Delta and the Bannerman, which is named after Echo the Bunnyman, and Dragonfire.
So, we kind of got the return to form that we kind of saw recently develop with Doctor's regenerations, especially with some of the other Doctors, Davison and Colin Baker. Even before we really saw their tenure as the Doctor, they were kind of hedging their bets on, hey, this Doctor will grow on you. And we see that here with McCoy too, as you know, the end of episode 4 is him going to Mel and saying, you know, she's like, I don't recognize you, you're not the Doctor. And he goes, I'll grow on you.
They had that scene. They had that scene.
It's kind of like they're addressing the audience, like, yes, this is the new Doctor. He'll grow on you.
Yes, they absolutely did.
But you gotta imagine that they would know that he would be more popular than the previous Doctor that was probably the lowest ratings in the TV show. They had,
hopefully. Yeah.
they thought maybe McCoy would not have been popular with audiences, you think?
I don't know.
Me either.
It's just okay. So
Does that just become a trope that they kind of reference a lot is.
Well, they do that occasionally, like
Rani.
the Sixth Doctor, change, and not a moment too soon. You know?
See, that's the thing is the new Doctors, they're real cocky and confident about it. They're like, this is a good change.
And
whereas McCoy is just like, I don't like my appearance. That's a lot of Doctors we've seen is, I don't like my face, I don't like this, and then the newer Doctors are like, oh yes, an upgrade, and the change finally, and
depends on the Doctor. Depends on the Doctor.
I guess so.
All right.
Depends on the showrunner.
Did we finish off the Sixth Doctor stuff? Like we do? Did we choose his best episode or best serial?
Yep, best of Colin.
What is it?
The Two Doctors.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I remember that.
Season 23 was Terror of the Vervoids.
Yep, but it didn't hold up to the Two Doctors.
Oh yeah, no.
And now we're in season 24.
Yes, sir. I think we're all caught up. Do we have any new Doctor Who news yet? Any dates coming out? Because we've kind of been in a dry spell of any sort of releases.
We have. There is a single Blu-ray season compilation coming out, season 15 for the fourth Doctor.
Like where they completed it with anime.
What? No.
It's
There's
just
no
now
animation.
coming out on
It's just-
Blu-ray?
The old seasons are coming out on Blu-ray.
Oh, so this... Okay.
So
this is
season
a new
15
Blu-ray
is coming out on
release.
Blu-ray. Early June.
What about 4K DVD? Or like the 4K stuff?
Alright, hold on.
Okay.
Alright, season 15 is coming on Blu-ray for the fourth Doctor. Then we have the animation of the Celestial Toymaker coming out, both in June. And then in July, we have season 20 for the fifth Doctor. And that's it. We have no dates beyond that. We have nothing for the 60th anniversary episodes. We have nothing for series 14. We have nothing beyond that. So in less than 2 months, we may end up with no future dates whatsoever for the U.S.
Awfully mysterious.
Well,
now,
it's happened before, and it always sucks.
Right, because Doctor Who kind of falls into this formulaic, consistent, same thing after same thing, and then they make these big changes, and they don't really announce anything that's going on, and then all of a sudden it's like a whole new show, right? You think they'll change as much as it did in previous kind of transfers of production?
I'm scared of the current change. I'm really
scared of it. You think it'll be worse than some of the recent changes that the Doctor's been through? Yeah, worse. Okay. I thought, once we kind of hit the bottom of the barrel with Doctor Who, and like the new stuff, we could only go up from here. We complain about
with the bottom of the barrel with what?
Moffat, Chibnall, the showrunners we don't like.
Well, Moffat's back, and
he's back.
There's a bunch of
I guess he was popular with some Whovians.
He was popular with most Whovians.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Moffat was good. Well, no, not Moffat. Moffat. No, Davies. Davies was good.
And Davies.
Russell Davies was amazing.
Is he back or is Moffat back?
Russell Davies is back.
Okay, he's a popular one.
He was. The current stuff I don't know about. I have to see it, and I'm not sure if I want to see it. I want to see Wilfred Mott again in his last episodes.
Wilfred, yeah.
He passes away.
We saw Wilfred in the Dalek serial, right?
The movie.
The movie.
We saw the actor who played
policeman, right?
Right. He played Wilfred Mott in the modern stuff in Doctor Who in the movie.
Oh, he played the Doctor.
No.
Oh.
Peter Cushing played the doctor. He played the policeman.
The policeman. Yeah.
Right, who gets returned and then foils the
bank robber.
Bank robber. Yeah. And then the modern stuff, he's the grandfather to Donna Noble, and he's fantastic, and I love him. And he's played his last part in Doctor Who, and then passed away. And I want to see the episode, and I don't want to see the episode. It's like, oh,
kind of melancholy, yeah.
Well, a combination of that plus what I think the episode represents. We'll see.
Well,
all right.
Anything else on your heart or mind you want to share? Any other Doctor Who news?
Yeah. Nope, I think we're done. And still waiting on more dates. We are still waiting on more dates.
More dates?
Oof. I don't want to have we've had periods where we didn't have any dates coming up. I don't want to have that again. But if Disney keeps the stuff locked up, we have no release dates. You know?
I think it's going to be on the hush hush most of the time with how they do their productions, right? Because it's all very proprietary. It's like
but it's
streaming service.
It's not so much that. Well, yeah, it's very much that, but it's. We want to have you on a streaming service, so we're not going to let this be released on DVD or Blu-ray. It's like, why?
You think that's... Do they say that's what they're doing?
No, they haven't said that, but... Okay. Once again, the further we go out from the 60th anniversary specials, we're now 6 months out, and we don't even have a release date for them.
Right.
The more I think they're being postponed.
You think they'll just do away with them completely?
I don't know. But I know they're being at least postponed because Disney wants people to go to Disney Plus, you know?
Yeah. That wouldn't be a popular decision, though, if they...
Disney doesn't care about that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Apparently they don't care about making money either.
Correct. These days are all about DEI. That's all that matters to them.
DEI.
Diversity, equity, inclusion, or didn't earn it. They don't.
Okay.
They want representation of females and minorities, and they don't care what that costs them. So you have Furiosa bombing because it's a guy's movie.
It bombed.
Oh, it bombed. Because it's a guy's movie, but there's a female hero.
Pretty
heroine
from the trailers.
Yeah, but they do that like Ghostbusters, 2016. Let's play some Ghostbusters with women.
That was
and not make it good. Yeah, so it bombed.
Chris Hemsworth also in that movie.
Yes, actually. So, but there's the thing. It's like, let's have a guy's movie. Which you want to appeal to guys, but we'll replace Mad Max with Furiosa. So the guys won't show up, but it's a guy's movie, so the women won't show up, so it'll absolutely bomb. But they just keep doing this DEI crap, and...
But the guys like the girls. Like, it worked for Alien. And Terminator.
Okay, Ripley was awesome. But she wasn't a replacement of a male. No, she was her own character.
Right. But Furiosa is not her own character.
She's a replacement of Mad Max. Right. It's a Mad Max film without Mad Max.
Right.
And that's a problem. I have no problem with strong female characters. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with them replacing every single man. You know?
I feel like, they're just really cashing in on these pre-established IPs for the free advertising or the free recognition of that brand name, and then it's just, what are they doing with it?
Exactly.
Why do they do such awful movies with it?
It's DEI.
It's just
they're trying to make every man. They're trying to make every woman male and every man female. And it's stupid as hell. It's like, make your own damn heroes. Women should not accept sloppy seconds from men. Like She-Hulk. Well, why don't you have your own
It's just-
character rather than being Hulk, She-Hulk?
She, comma, this already existing male superhero.
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of stuff. It's like Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was really a man. We've talked about that. I have the comic over there. But they make her a female. Well, why don't you just make a new character, you know?
Yeah. I like how they do it in Spider-Man. Because every different Spider-Man is unique. It's not like the James Bond thing, the Doctor Who thing, where it's like same character, different actor. It's like, well, if we're having someone else play Spider-Man, it's like to do with the Spider-Verse, the multiverse. We have
To be fair, there's stuff in the comics for that, but I don't follow that.
I think Spider-Man does it the best, and every other franchise where they've tried to incorporate this. Well, we've already beaten this horse to death in the IP, and the only way to take it further is to bring these dead people back and make this whole timeline and multiverse.
Yeah.
It's just become such a trope. And I think Spider-Man kind of pulled it off, but I haven't really seen anyone else do it.
Doctor Who does it to a small extent.
But I haven't seen the
overall, I
Doctor
agree
Who
with you. We'll get there.
stuff.
We'll get there.
A lot of questions about that. Well, thanks for joining us once again. Welcome back to the main show.
Yep.
We're
We will
back
see
on
you
it.
next time, which is Paradise Towers.
Paradise Towers, there's 4 of them. That's all I know.
Yeah, especially when we don't have an outro.